Hi, I'm Wesley Falkenberg. I'm the curator here at the National Steeplechase Museum. I'd like to welcome you here. Right now we're standing in the Austin and Sally Brown Founders Room because the museum was founded in 1998 in large part thanks to this man, Austin Brown. He was the one that decided that Camden needed a steeplechase museum, and so he started making phone calls around Camden telling people, hey, I want to build a steeplechase museum here in Camden. How much money would you give us? And was able to raise all the money needed to build the original building just from getting people to pledge money, which shows you how much clout he had here in Camden. And so when Austin passed in 2016 and then Sally passed in 2019, they left everything equestrian related to us here at the museum. We put all of that on display here in the Austin and Sally Brown Founders Room. It's our way of saying thank you to them, because without Austin's initiative in 1998, there would not be a steeplechase museum here today, almost 28 years later. This room is actually the original Carolina Cup race office built back in the early 1960s. Prior to this, there was no office here, and everything was more or less run out of Harry Kirkover's home. But after Marion purchased the property and after Mr. Kirkover died, she decided there needed to be a race office, and the rest of the museum and the existing race offices were built around this room. Harry Kirkover was effectively a one-man racing committee and ran the races basically out of his house. Most all of the mail actually went through his house. We have the old invitations and everything, and it's all listed as either being from Holly Hedge or the Columns, depending on what year it is specifically. Camden's often referred to as the steeplechase capital of the world, due in large part to the presence of Springdale Race Course, which the National Steeplechase Museum is located on. Springdale Race Course is also home to Springdale's Training Center and the Carolina Cup Steeplechase and the Colonial Cup Steeplechase in the fall. The Carolina Cup Steeplechase has been run since 1930, and the Colonial Cup was run from 1970 to 2016 and then came back in the fall of 2024. We're just a few weeks away from the Carolina Cup now, and we'll have crowds in excess of 20,000 out there ready to party and ready to see some horses and some jumping action. One of the major factors of Camden's importance to the horse racing world is the soil. Being located in South Carolina's Sand Hills, the soil around Camden is very sandy, and Springdale is no exception to that. That means that if it rains 12 inches the day before the races, the racetrack doesn't turn into a muddy quagmire. But if you haven't had rain in a month or more, it keeps the ground from becoming as hard as a brick, which makes Camden an ideal training center for year-round activity as well as for racing activity. Springdale Race Course was founded in 1928 by Ernest Woodward and Harry Kirkover. Ernest Woodward was actually the majority shareholder of the Jello Corporation. Harry Kirkover had gone out hunting his champion bird dogs and came across a hill and found a property that was partly planted in cotton and partly planted in corn, and went back to Woodward and said, if we can get it, I've found the place for the best steeplechase course in North America. He brought Woodward out to check out the course, and he decided to purchase it, and the two laid out a course very similar to what was in style in Europe at the time, where you can see every jump from any spot in the infield, though ironically enough, in those early days, they didn't allow infield parking. But of course, in those early days, there were also plenty of horse and buggies as well as cars. The first race was held on Washington's birthday in 1928. Those continued until 1938, and the Carolina Cup came into existence in 1930 and has been run ever since, with 4 interruptions in 1943, 44, and 45 for the Second World War, and in 2020 for COVID. And we run this year on March 29th, 2025. This is what it's all about. This is the Carolina Cup trophy. It was crafted in Ireland in 1704 by Alexander Sinclair, purchased in 1930 by Ernest Woodward, and donated anonymously to the Carolina Cup. It has been presented to the winning owner every year since 1930. Back in the day, the winning owner would get to take it home for a year, and they would bring it back at the next running of the races. One too many champagne-fueled after parties and dents and dings later, and it stays in here behind glass 364 days out of the year and only goes down on race day. The winning owner's name is still inscribed every year. Since 1930, you can track it all the way from 1930 with the first running with Noel Lang and Ballast II, all the way to 2024 with a bond owned by Eclipse Thoroughbred Partners, Danault Thoroughbreds, trained by Kate Dalton and ridden by Bernie Dalton. We have Eclipse Thoroughbred silks up in the case here with the trophy to commemorate their win. And then also run for on the day of the Carolina Cup are the C.P. and Edith Wills Dubose Cup, the Dale K. Teal, and the Kirkover Woodward Cup, which commemorates the two founders of Springdale Race Course, Ernest Woodward and Harry Kirkover. All three of these are presentation pieces that are presented on the day of the Carolina Cup to the winners of those races. The museum is also home to an equicizer. This one's name is Sparky. He's kept here in the museum all year, although he does go down to the racetrack and the kids zone for the Carolina and Colonial Cup races. So anyone can hop on and ride him if you're willing. He doesn't bite and he doesn't kick, though he has been known to buck from time to time. But when you use him, you make him move yourself, and when you're in the stirrups holding the reins and pushing down on his neck to make him go, you're working out all the same muscles that you would work out riding a real horse. So he is a great piece of exercise equipment, especially for young riders who are still kind of learning, because it's easier to give someone pointers on their form when they're sitting on him versus going 30 miles an hour on the back of a real horse. He also serves as a great test of stamina for current jockeys, because if you can get on him and go all out for about 5 minutes, which is the typical time you would spend in a steeplechase race, then you're in very good shape. Within the rotunda of the museum, you can find the silks of the various Eclipse champions from 1948 to present. Each one of these silks represents an owner who has won the Eclipse Award for Champion Steeplechase Horse. A common misconception about silks is that they belong to the jockey that's wearing them, but in reality the silks belong to the owner of the horse that the jockey is riding. A jockey might ride 4 or 5 different horses on any given day for 4 or 5 different owners, and the jockey would change out of the silks of one owner and into the other between races. They are also referred to as silks, not jerseys, because previously jockey silks had been made of silk. Though what they found was if you fall off the back of a horse while wearing silk, that's pretty much it for that. These days, silks tend to be made of nylon or athletic fabric. Thanks for joining us here at the National Steeplechase Museum. We hope to see you come out and visit the museum in person, and we hope that we can see you at the races on March 29th, 2025.